Hey there, welcome back to another video. This time around, it is yet another vlog. Actually, to start out with, I'm going to give you a life update. I know I talked about in one of the last vlogs I did that I did get a new job. It took a while for my background check to go through in order for me to start that new job because there was some jackass with the same exact name as mine who lives in Washington who had a rap sheet 27 lines long. So that was something that was a little frustrating. But once that went through, I was able to start. I actually started this week, and my first impression is really good. I really like how things have started out at my new job. But the story I want to focus on is pertaining to my original job, the job that I'm still working at. And it happened yesterday night from the time that I'm recording this video, which might not be accurate by the time I upload this. But anyway, it was one night while I was closing, and I almost lost an eye. So I know, you're like, oh my god, holy shit. I'm not exaggerating either. Like, this was really close to being a serious injury. There are these long metal pegs that the store uses to hang bags on, and they were set up behind one of the registers, and they were at a point where they were sticking out way too far, to the point where they are a serious injury hazard. I'm proof of this. So what makes this even more frustrating is that there wasn't even anything hanging up on the pegs. They should have been taken down. Or if there was something hanging on it, it was like one or two bags. Move them somewhere else. If they're not being used, then they are just a hazard. And so I was doing my normal closing procedure where I was picking stuff up off the floor, and I bent over and grabbed something off the floor from that area without a problem initially. But then the second time around, when I tried to do that, I bent over and I ran completely eye first into, and I didn't mean to use my middle finger, but I might as well, like, fuck that peg. But anyway, I I went an eye first into that peg, into this lens, and it was such a hard impact that it knocked my glasses off my head and onto the floor. If my glasses were not there, if I did not have thick ass prescription lenses because I'm blind as a bat without my glasses on, I might have lost a fucking eye, or at least dealt with a serious eye injury that definitely would have put me in a lot of pain and out of action for a decent amount of time. So I am 100% very thankful and very blessed that nothing really serious occurred, but it was way too close for comfort. And now I have a deep gash, a scratch on my lens to prove it. I don't know if you can see it. I think you should probably be able to see it. Thankfully, I do have a warranty with these lenses, so I can just get them replaced for free with the optometrist, with the eyeglass place that I purchased these from. But god damn, that scared the shit out of me. And it really did put things into perspective, because it was fucking hell, man. I could have wound up looking like Snake Plissken or Captain Ron. It's fucking pegs, man. And I went back to work today, this afternoon, and the pegs weren't there anymore. The manager I was closing with, he actually removed them after it happened, and he didn't like them either. So I hope to never see those fucking pegs there again. If they do, if I see them again, I'm removing them. I'm taking them off. I don't give a shit if I get in trouble. But anyway, that's my story about how I almost lost an eye. Next up, I'm going to start showing you some stuff. I'm going to start out with a book, actually. Bleeding Skull, a 1990s trash horror odyssey. Now, this is a book that was supposed to come out like a couple years ago. I had pre-ordered this on Amazon numerous times, and I kept canceling the pre-order because the day it was supposed to come out would come and go, and I was like, I don't want to wait for this. It even got to the point where even Amazon was like, are you sure? Like, we really don't know when this is coming out. So even Amazon was like, we don't know, man. But finally, it did get finished, and it came out earlier this summer. And I would highly recommend this book if you're a fan of horror movies or that kind of stuff, or especially the VHS era, because there's just a lot of obscure horror titles that are featured in this. That where you have a bunch of reviews and exclusive photos and so on. That's and all of it's done very tongue in cheek, as if they're kind of in a lot of ways they're inspired by Joe Bob Briggs. And this is a sequel to Bleeding Skull, a 1980s trash horror odyssey. And this one is incredibly hard to find now. This one's out of print. This one I got from Head Press directly, and this one is just black and white photos. But I, I I'm really glad I still have it, because even though it's not the color version, it's insanely hard to find nowadays. It's like over $100. So I wanted to get Bleeding Skull the sequel while I still could, while it was affordable. Still cost me like 30 something. Well, actually no, I used a credit that I got from Amazon, and it cost me like 13 bucks or something. So it was a pretty good deal. So that's Bleeding Skull. Um I also want to mention that I did get a new 4K Blu-ray player. I actually got it from Facebook Marketplace, a local seller. It's a Sony, I think, X700, and I've read some mixed reviews on it, but so far I think it's been an upgrade over my LG, and it's been working fine. And I only paid $40 for it, and it was a local pickup. It was a really good deal because it goes for easily over 100. And in some and when it's in box brand new in store, depending on the store you're at, 150 $200. So it was a good deal. And so there's that. I will say this about Facebook Marketplace: be careful. For a long, long time, for years, I never got scammed, but I got scammed recently. Uh, and I want to warn you, definitely be very wary of certain listings that don't have any reviews of the seller, and also be very wary of people that seem a little shady. You gotta really just use your judgment. But also, if anyone asks you to pay only through Venmo, do so with extreme caution, because there is nothing that's going to get your money back if they do decide to scam you. I thought I was getting a good deal on an 8 terabyte hard drive on 4th of July weekend, and the guy seemed legit, seemed really nice, even had a receipt, even had all of this, and I got scammed. So thankfully it was only $50. It wasn't like I spent like an insane amount of money. And thankfully to you guys, to those of you who have recently donated and paid for requests, I made up for it. I didn't wind up losing any money. So it's one of those things where it's unfortunate because it seemed legit, and then the guy out of nowhere removed me from the group conversation, completely left Facebook. I couldn't even contact or even access the page anymore. It just said Facebook user. communication through Venmo didn't do anything. So yeah, I 100% got scammed. Also, sometimes when it seems like it's extremely legit, like they have everything ready to go, that's when you should be like, okay, you're trying to scam me here and move on. Because it's something that they try to do to try to sucker you in. And I didn't know that initially, because I'm the type of guy who wants to trust people, but sometimes you just can't trust people. You can't trust everyone, and that's definitely one of those instances. But I'm still gonna keep um, making deals through Facebook Marketplace because it's such a good deal. Like it's such a I've gotten so many good deals on a lot of stuff through there. So I'm still gonna be taking a risk, but I'm gonna be a lot more cautious nowadays. Anyway, let's get started with the DVDs. So didn't get a ton of DVDs here, but a fair amount. So I'm gonna start with the title that I got from a Hamilton book purchase, but I didn't show it on camera because I forgot to grab it for the last video. Heart of Midnight with Jennifer Jason Leigh and Peter Coyote. This one looked interesting. And it's a Kino Lorber DVD, and those are usually pretty good in terms of picture quality. So, next up we have the first of a stack that I got at a store called Stuff in Clackamas, Oregon. A friend of mine took me over there. We were going to pick up some auto parts, and Stuff was right next to the auto parts store. We had enough time to spare, so decided to stop in, and I'm glad I did. I got a good deal on these. Some of these I only got because it was a really good deal. Otherwise, I wouldn't have even bothered. But some titles here that I thought were really interesting. Some blind buys. I still do blind buys as a collector, but only if the price is right. I'm not paying anything more than $3-4 for a blind buy. I'm not paying $6, $7, $8, $10. I'm not doing that, especially for a DVD. But yeah, Stuff is basically a pawn shop without pawn in the title. So we have Wilderness. This one looked interesting. I remember seeing the trailer for it as well a while back, so decided to pick that up. Here we have a film called Force of Nature. This is a request. I actually did watch this recently. I'm going to save my thoughts on this for the review, but picked it up because it was a paid request. Thank you for that, by the way. Then we have Babylon AD. I know this film is not the best in terms of reviews, but I've never seen it. And I saw a trailer for it recently, and it looks like it might be interesting. I'm not expecting it to be good, but I'm still curious about it. It only cost me $1, so it wasn't like it cost me an arm and a leg. Then we have a film called Shiver. This one looked really intriguing, and it's another one that cost me like $1.50 or something like that. This is from the producer of Pan's Labyrinth and The Orphanage. It stars Junio Valverde from The Devil's Backbone, and it's about a teenager who suffers from a rare and violent allergy to sunlight, which is really intriguing. So, Shiver. Then I got Dawn of the Mummy for the collection. I've heard really bad things about this movie. This DVD, I believe, is out of print, and all it is just a VHS that's put on a disc. But I didn't pay a ton of money for it. I definitely paid less than what it's going for on Amazon or eBay. Then we got Slam Dunk Ernest for the Ernest collection. I like basketball movies, and I didn't have that one. Then we've got Creed 2 for the Stallone collection. Never seen it. I have not seen this yet. I wasn't really big on Creed, but it cost me $1. I mean, it's hard to beat that. Then we got something called The Headhunter. This one looked a little interesting. Sorry about that hair there. I have a cat. Olympus's hair is everywhere. So the Headhunter. Then I got Capone, Tom Hardy. Uh, Heard some decent things about this one, so I picked that up. So that's it for the DVDs, and now we're gonna get to the Blu-rays. I only have one 4K, and that'll be a little bit down the line. But anyway, I'm gonna start out with a gift. This is a gift from Mike, a longtime friend of mine. He decided to send me this out of the blue, and I thought it was really awesome because I am a huge fan of this movie. I think it rocks. The Monster Squad. Now, I already had this on Blu-ray, the out of print Lionsgate release, but that release is notorious for having disc rot. So I wanted the Olive Films release because it's not known for that, and it's one of my favorite films, so I didn't want to have a time when the disc would rot and I couldn't play it anymore, and I couldn't watch the movie. So I added it to my Amazon wish list, and then it surprised me one day, and it was really cool. Really, really nice of him to do that for me. And this apparently also has a better transfer than the Lionsgate release. It does not port over the features, though, which is sad and a bummer, but it's Olive Films, so it's not surprising. That being said, I'm really glad I have this because this cover art is demonstrably better than the Lionsgate release because it has the right cast. In the Lionsgate release, you got kids on that there that you're like, who? Like the kid in up front and center is not even in the movie, and I just think it's a pretty nice presentation, and it is a little bit of an upgrade picture quality wise. That being said, I really would love to see this get a 4K remaster, a 4K Blu-ray. This film has such a cult following that I think it's a huge missed opportunity that some company that owns the rights is not doing that. This should get a new remaster with all the features from the Lionsgate release ported over, plus new features, maybe include Wolfman's Got Nards, which was a recent documentary, because this deserves better. This it really does. The best release is one that's notorious for having disc rot. And the only other release is Olive Films, which is bare bones. Now there is a release overseas by Media Blasters, but it's out of print and insanely expensive. So I would like to see this get a Vestron Collector Series, a Scream Factory release, a Kino Lorber release, Arrow Video. Somebody should bring the squad to even better definition on home video. But for right now, it's better than nothing. Speaking of Scream Factory, here we have their release of Event Horizon. I'm a big fan of this film. I think it's a great movie. That being said, this cover art sucks. I think this is an eyesore. It's awful. It's honestly one of Scream Factory's worst. I really do not like it. It's just awful. I prefer the simple but effective original poster. I mean, it looked like there was next to no effort put into this shit. Like, what is this? Most of this cover is taken up by the machine. And then the guy floating in the middle, it's just fucking awful. It's embarrassing. Then we have a couple Paramount Presents releases. We've got The Golden Child. Sorry, I didn't mean it to flip out at you. The Golden Child. This one has a new transfer. Yeah, it's a 4K transfer. Plus it has a couple new features, which is better than nothing. And it's really nice to see this get an official release because it's one of my favorites. I really enjoy this movie. It makes for a great double feature with Big Trouble in Little China. So The Golden Child. Then I got another Paramount Presents release, Airplane. Classic comedy. This is another really good release if you're a fan of the film. It's got a new transfer, a couple new features. It's got the collectible packaging as well, where you can fold it out and there's a poster. And I got a really good deal on both of these. These were from Amazon Warehouse, and it was at the time when they were allowing coupons. So I got a really good deal on those. I would say the most I paid for either one was like 15 bucks. The next stack here is compromised of titles that I got from 88 Films during their recent sale. So we have Avenging Force with Michael Dudikoff. This is a really cool release. Not only do you have the slipcover, but you also have reversible cover art, so you can have the original VHS and Laserdisc poster. And it even comes with some collectible art cards. So if you're like a mega fan of this film, I mean, look at that. It is region locked. It is region locked though. Sorry. If I have any moments like that through this video, I apologize. I'm doing this pretty late at night, so I might have some moments where my brain slows down and doesn't keep up with my mouth. But anyway, this is region locked, so if you're not region free, this will not work. Just keep that in mind. I also got Bad Dreams because I actually really enjoy this movie, and I did not have it on Blu-ray. It has some new exclusive features for this release, but it also does not port over all of the features from the Anchor Bay release. So it's kind of not the best of both worlds, and it's region locked, so if you don't have a region free player, you're kind of screwed. But surprisingly, this release, Anaconda, this is region free. Even though it says it's not, it clearly says region B. It is not region B only, because I was able to play this on my player. And sometimes 88 Films will have titles like that. And that's really nice, because if you're a fan of this film, this is the definitive release to get. Because not only does it have a pretty good transfer, but it has a ton of features that are exclusive to this release. And then the next series of stacks is all from Kino Lorber. They had another sale recently, and their deals are insane. So I decided to take part in the sale once again. So we have The Hot Spot, filmed by Dennis Hopper, featuring Don Johnson. We've got the only 4K release that I got for this video, Mad Max. And it's one hell of a good 4K release. I've always liked this cover art, and if you're a fan of this film, this is a must-own. You really need to get this release, because if you're 4K enabled, you have a 4K TV, a 4K Blu-ray player, you're ready to go, and you like this film, this is the best the film has ever looked or sounded. Trust me. Then we have the original Man on Fire with Scott Glenn. We have Date with an Angel, with a film by Tom McLaughlin. Then we have Youngblood with Patrick Swayze, Rob Lowe, Cynthia Gibb. This is a pretty underrated sports drama. A lot of people don't talk about this one. I would say this is a pretty good one. Also, this has a really great soundtrack. Do yourself a favor and look up the song Stand in the Fire from this soundtrack. It's a real gem. Then we have The Emerald Forest. Always like this poster. Powers Booth stars in that one. It's directed by John Boorman. We have an 80s comedy called Moving Violations. Then we have Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia. Sam Peckinpah film. Heard some good things about it. Looked interesting. Then we have North Shore. Another 80s film that has a pretty good soundtrack. Killdozer, made for TV movie about a bulldozer that comes to life and starts wreaking havoc. The Wildlife finally gets a Blu-ray release. If you like films like Fast Times at Ridgemont High, this is a must-see. Then we have Not for Publication with Nancy Allen and David Naughton. We have the original, well, not the original, but the 1977 version of The Island of Dr. Moreau. Then we have a thriller called The Silent Partner. I've heard a lot of good things about this one, and I'm a big fan of Elliot Gould, and I've heard this is one of his best, and really curious to check this out sometime. And this is a really good release. The transfer the Studio Canal did for this is stunning. Then we have Charlie Varick, an interesting oddity. It's a film directed by Don Siegel, who directed Dirty Harry, and it stars Walter Matthau. And he plays a convict who gets involved with a lot of shady shit and becomes essentially an anti-hero. And it's just a very different kind of role for Walter Matthau. And this comes with a lot of features. This has a feature-length documentary called The Last of the Independents. It's about the making of the film. Then we have Oscar with Stallone. Then we have another comedy, I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker! Directed by Keenan Ivory Wayans. A lot of ways this is the precursor to In Living Color. And then we have Kino Lorber's recent release of Runaway Train. Now, I have the Arrow video release, and I'm going to keep that one because that release has features that this one does not. But the reason why I got this is because it was on sale, and it has a new transfer, and it's not region locked. So that's it for the Kino Lorber releases. Now this stack is all titles that I picked up today, actually. I got them at a pawn shop. Got a really good deal on these. The only reason why I got these is because I got a really good deal on them. Because some of them I would not pay that much at all for. So we have G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra. I know this has had a recent 4K release. I don't really care. I saw this in the theater. I remember having some fun with it, but I haven't seen it in years. And I thought it would be fun to revisit it one of these days. Then I got Chronicle, because I only had this on DVD. And that one looked interesting. We have Carrie, the remake. I have not seen this one yet, and I thought I have all the other Carrie adaptations. I have the original. I have the sequel on DVD. I have the remake slash reboot from the 2000s. I think there was a TV movie with Angela Bettis. I have that as well on DVD, but I didn't have the remake. So maybe one of these days I'll do a Carrie marathon. Then I got The Amazing Spider-Man because I actually don't mind this film, and I don't have it on Blu-ray. I thought I did, but the case did not have the Blu-ray in it, so I really didn't. And it was a good deal, and I have The Amazing Spider-Man 2, so one of these days I actually do want to revisit those and do new reviews of those films, because I think, to be perfectly honest, I think both of them are pretty damn underrated, especially compared to the Disney Marvel Spider-Man movies. Then we have Man of Steel. Now, yes, I do have problems with this film. I don't love the movie, but it does have some moments of genuine spectacle. So I did want to pick up the Blu-ray if I was able to find it for super cheap. And here we go. So Man of Steel. 47 Ronin. I know I've heard this is awful, but I want to see it for myself. And I only had the DVD. And it looks like a film that at least will have some pretty good visuals. And I want to be able to see those in the best possible quality. Then we have The A-Team. I saw this in the theater. I remember not being amazed by it, but it's been forever and a day since I saw this last, and I thought it might be kind of fun to revisit it. So The A-Team, we've got You're next. I want to give this another shot. Maybe I wasn't in the right mood. Maybe I just didn't necessarily get what they were trying to go for. Um, and I do remember some things about this actually being good. Like I really do remember liking the gore, and I did like this character, the final girl. So you're next. And there's another one that I only had on DVD. Here we have Wreck-It Ralph. Heard a lot of good things about this. I've never seen it though, and I only have it on DVD. So it was a good deal to get it on Blu-ray. So pick that up. Here we have The War at Home. This is a bare bones Mill Creek release, but none of the releases of this are anything more than that. And it was super cheap, and I got it for the Emilio Estevez collection. Then we have Total Recall. Yes, the remake. I believe this is a paid request one time, along with the original film, and so I decided to pick it up so I give it a shot, give it another try. Also, so I have something I can physically beat the shit out of on camera. Three Kings, film I've heard about but I've never seen, and it was really cheap. And don't mind that. That was just a stack that I set on the floor, just collapsing in on itself. Here we have Queen of the Damned. And the last ones here are Here Comes the Boom with Kevin James. Swordfish, critically acclaimed movie that I've never seen. I have never seen this movie. I've heard a lot of good things about it, but I've never seen it. Then we've got Ghost Rider. Saw this in the theater, enjoyed it. Only have this on DVD. To me, it's the only Ghost Rider film worth a shit because Spirit of Vengeance is awful. And that's one I saw in the theater and I was more lenient on, but that did not hold up well on a rewatch. It was just embarrassing. Then I got Final Destination 5 because I have the Final Destination films 1 through 4 on Blu-ray, but I don't have the fifth one. And it was super cheap. So there we go. That's it for the DVDs and Blu-rays and 4K releases. I think I'm actually gonna. Here's what I'm gonna do. We're already at like 33 something minutes, so I'm probably gonna call it. I'll do a separate video where I will talk about some movie news and some movie trailers. And so yeah, thanks for watching this vlog. And for those of you that have done some paid requests recently, I am really fast on it. I'm getting to them. The next up is going to be a trifecta of reviews that were requested by Farah. And after that, I'm going to do some more paid requests. And yeah, so look forward to those. And I'm probably going to get some rest because I need it. But anyway, thanks for watching. See you later.